good guys in a way is we take the tier pirate or aggression and we steal their ships and we hawk their ships to this other guy and we buy legit ships.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I mean, God, I mean, you think if all right, if we get 30% of value, okay, that means every 4 ships on average we have enough money to purchase a ship of some sort.
So when he said that he'd give you 50% of value, you have to realize what PRQ is doing. He'll give you 50% of value of a ship that they are going to strip. So he'll give you 50% of value of parts. So, I mean, which generally is going to be less than the fully put together ship. And of course, PRQ is going to have costs of ship breaking, and so he's got to pay his people to tear it apart. But generally, it's going to come out to about 25 to 30% value of the ship, which is still pretty good. I mean, that's a chunk of change.
What does Thief give it?
Next to nothing, and the reason is that it is next to impossible to sell a stolen ship.
Oh no, I meant we sold a ship to the shipyards and came out with like 27 million
because they tore it apart.
Oh, so it was the same deal as we got around 20% of face value. We just brought a really good ship in. That's still the money. I mean, at 20%, that's still the ships are where the money is.
Right. Of course. I mean, yeah. I mean, like you said, even if they're stripping them and selling them, as parts and basically recycling the hull, it's still worth a ton of money.
Yeah, and I got to think pirated ships. I mean, you could sell them as ships that were pirated and seized from pirates, and almost take those on the open market as an actual ship. I mean, for a reduction in value, I understand, but I mean, you could probably come up with salvaged or some kind of thing. If Drinax gets to be recognized by the Imperium, then the power of the state alone will be able to clean ships up a little bit.
Yes. Well, and
launder ships.
Yeah. Give me just a second. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to go and turn on my air conditioner. Yeah, yesterday.
It's hot there?
It's getting warm. It's supposed to be 95 on Friday.
Wow. Man, that is so ironic because here I am in the fucking, I mean, just the humid, hard, hitting part. Yeah. Notoriously, I mean, we get hit early and long and all that, and it's not bad here. It hasn't been bad. I think we've gotten to the 90 once. It was for a short period. We've had a little 80s. I mean, right now it's 70 degrees. It's nice.
Yeah, we've had thunderstorms past couple of days, and so it's funny because yesterday and the day before that, it was struggling to get to 60 degrees. And then today, now the thunderstorms have kind of, well, I can see the tail end of one as it's moving across the sky. But, it got to like 70, 77, and but it's all humidity, and it's just fucking sucks. It's like, shit or get off the pot. Get these things out of here.
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking, change topic a little bit. If we were thinking about doing this adventure based on a party that's hired to protect the wandering travelers, right?
Yeah.
Entertainers. There's that stage is right there in the Broadhaven estate that we got.
That's true.
Yeah. So if they stop through we can actually tie the adventure into your stuff, unless you're against this.
No, that's fine.
Not about it. Yeah. So they come in because I would like to tailor it to the Brawnhaven setting.
Yep, let's do it. I mean, I would much rather do that than piss around with anything that Wizards of the Coast is doing. I mean,
yeah. Even of course, if we release in 5e and OSE, then you're kind of obligated to convert the whole Brawnhaven setting to a 5e.
That is true. That is true. And I mean,
don't be against that. That's a market, and you've already written it, and you're just converting. Is theoretically, your art's already there. Your maps are there. Your room descriptions are there. Converting is a lot less taxing than the actual writing.
That's
true. Of course, I'm saying this from the outside, but I've written shit before, so
Yeah.
I know that. But anyway, so what we'll need to figure out when we have our stuff is, where do you want, do you think maybe we could stick a couple of dragons having a territorial dispute in the Brawnhaven setting?
Ooh. Well, it's funny that you bring that up because
we could do this after we do the next little thing when we go to the mountains for the shit you just wrote.
Well, I'm in the process of writing an adventure based in the mountains, and it's kind of the next leg of this whole thing. And it's funny that you bring that up because there is some opportunity there about bringing some dragons into the setting. Hello, Glenn.
Hello. Dragons in space?
No.
No. But there are dragons. There's elves, there's dwarves. I gotta think there's species of dragons, whether they do all the mythical shit or not. That's in how they're written. But
elves and dragons and
there's already space elves in Traveler.
There's already space elves in Traveler.
Yeah, the Darians.
They're right up next to the Swordwold Confederation.
Yeah. They accidentally blew up their own sun.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Highly psionic, xenophobic as fuck, and high tech level society.
Yeah, they had originally tech level 16 with prototypes of tech level 17 stuff. Accidentally blew up their star, and in an event called the Magis, and they are now considered a minor race and are in the process of clawing their way back to, I think tech level 15 is where they're clawing their way back to. Hello, Cameron. Hello, Devin.
Oh, they're both there. Oh, man.
I can see his shoulder.
Cool. Yeah, he's shouldering it on in. Bad camera
It's Captain
placement.
Beth.
Yeah, and Engineer Keith.
But yeah, so the Darians, they are a thing. And,
we'll
they're kind of considered space elves.
We'll be getting into that when we reset, right? We're going to reset and go up in the Spinwood Marches at some point.
On
this night. This is the Skandervisk.
Yeah. I'm considering this is still a ways off because technically speaking, you guys have officially hit the 50% mark as far as Pirates of Drinax has gone, and I kind of feel like the second half is going to go a lot faster than the first half, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway,
we're just going to take our time, like on a honeymoon night.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, no need to rush. But I have
our premarital children have babysitters, and we're on the honeymoon for a week.
I have considered. And this is one of the things that I considered maybe 2 years ago, that the next campaign that I would run for the Wednesday night group, continuing on with Traveler, we would probably do new characters. Although I don't know, I kind of feel like new characters is a good idea, And
if
the
we're doing Skandervisk, I'm rolling a fucking young motherfucker that's a space Viking. I'm gonna fucking
So I've been thinking about taking Skandervisk and then the what is it, Mystery of the Ancients?
Yeah.
Which Mystery of the Ancients is now not going to be just one book; they are making it 3 books.
Oh, we like books.
Yeah, and so not to mention, like I did with this one, I would of course do all of the March's adventures. So I mean,
of course. So yeah,
you know that at some point you guys are going to need to have your own ship, probably post Skandervisk, and so yeah, I thought about putting that all in and making one enormous campaign.
That sounds fun. I'm having fun with the pirates thing, but I mean, I know the story will come to an end at some point. Sooner or later, Keith and I are going to get left unsupervised, and we're going to destroy a race.
There's going to be accidental genocide going on. Yeah. Well, and one of the things I've thought about running the new campaign is that I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to start it. I learned some things from playing Pirates of Drinax. Is that when you do these massive campaigns like this, the time it takes to transit between worlds starts to really add up. I mean, just in a jump to ship, just crossing, one sector, you can have 6-7 months go by, in a round trip pretty easily. So one of the things that I've learned is if you want to avoid, I'm a sucker for canon. And if you want to avoid some of the big pitfalls that happen in canon, you have to start these big campaigns before 1105, like maybe 1090, like 1095, somewhere in there, and that give yourself a little bit of padding because our Pirates of Drinax campaign starting in 1105 has gone on long enough that you guys, not that you're going to run into it face first, but like you learned last session, is that the Jodani fleet has been moving into the demilitarized zone between the Spinward Marches and the Jodani consulate, which that DMZ was set up at the end of the 4th Frontier War. Right. And, neither the Imperium nor the Jodani are supposed to have large fleet engagements. I think they're allowed to have like some patrol, but not a big flotilla, armada, or fleet. And they're breaking that, and that's a sign there's something coming, and we're probably going to see that towards the end of this year. Maybe I'm hoping either the end of this year, which I'm kind of crossing my fingers that we'll see something happen with that, like in November. But I'm not. The problem that I'm seeing is I'm not seeing it on the on their release list. So the more likely situation is that they're keeping quiet about it until maybe. It might be early 2024, first quarter, somewhere in there. But you're talking about the advent of the 5th Frontier War. And the 5th Frontier War, now, like you guys are in the Trojan Reach, the war itself may not affect the Trojan Reach directly very much because it is a ways off. But the 5th Frontier War, in my eyes, is the floodgate that is opened that causes a torrent of shit to come into the Traveler universe. And
that sounds amazing. A torrent of shit?
Yeah. Some of it's
that's
I don't know.
With,
some of it's really cool. Some of it I have mixed thoughts about. And I don't want to give any since you guys don't know what happens. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but
Oh yeah.
Everything that you know gets turned upside down, and is pretty much completely eradicated and starts over at some point. And like I said, I don't know how I feel about that, but so there's technically two different Traveler timelines. It diverged when GURPS did their Traveler line, and they decided to not do some things and ignore it and just kind of keep on keeping on. But the main Traveler line, everything got turned upside down. And I kind of feel like it or not, this was what Mark Miller created. And so to deviate from that storyline in my own doesn't really do any justice to him. And so my way of thinking is, well, this shit happened, so gonna have to fucking deal with it. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, man.
And so, and there's different ages. Like, we are what would be considered the golden age of Traveler. Because you got the exploration, you've got the political tension. It's a great period to stay in. And the only way to stay in that period is, at a certain point, you end your campaign, and the next campaign goes back into that period. You go back in time, and these guys are doing something else during all this other shit that's going on. But I mean, sooner or later, you're going to have, 2 or 3 characters, and you're like, wow, okay, so in your head, you're putting together all of these events that have happened at different points in charted space, and you have a timeline and map that you have created in your head, and you're like, oh, I see where this is going. And so, I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Think
but
next time around, you ought to enforce the Merc license rule. If you haven't dropped the money down to have the mercenary license, it's very difficult to purchase higher end items, especially military.
That of course actually is true now. But you guys aren't in Imperium space. You're in the Trojan Reach, and you're pirates. And, as Mark...
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying take my toys away now.
Right. Well, no, I'm saying that pirates sell to other pirates, and loot happens. And, as Marcus from... As Marcus from Bad Santa would say, is because that is what we do, Willie. We are pirates and Lois, and we get the shit. And so,
speaking of loot, you have a decision to make, Captain. Did you want to just spend 6 of the nuclear atomic torpedo warheads to get 1 of the Harriers outfitted and refit, or the 14 deal where both of them are done? And we've kind of spouted to the King Drinax, King Olib, that we're going to donate him a Harrier.
Well, that donation of the Harrier kind of takes care of your that 10% tithe.
Yeah, that removes that.
Okay, so if we spend 1 missile, and then
it's 14 missiles.
Oh, it's 14. Okay, I didn't understand. Is it one? So what? I get it. I have to choose between 1 and 14.
You have to choose 6.
So six. You can choose 6 torpedoes to get 1 ship done, or you can do 14 and get both ships done, and both ships will be done to factory standards, or as close to facsimile of factory standards as possible.
But we can't shoot these torpedoes anyway.
Well, you will be left with 10 torpedoes left, and there is a ship, not currently in your possession, but there is a ship that is capable of using them.
Oh, the Rasputin?
The Rasputin has a torpedo barbette on it.
Right. But, I mean, I thought getting 2 you know, Harriers, we could have the Anubis, and then what, Set or Osiris. Well, we have Osiris as our main ship, but you know, whoever would be our other ship, and then that fits in. We've already requested that they train 3 sets of crews at the palace. We requested that they train 3 crews to be able to man Harriers. So in theory, we could have our 2 Harriers with our little bit, and then 1 for Olab. We donated one of the death bots. Remember, we said we were going to give him one.
Yeah.
We did that.
Cool.
So he was happy. We all got medals for the occasion.
General Rax is going to be quite happy
Yeah.
because he's finally going to get a Harrier. Although, I mean, I don't know why he'd be bitching. He's got the Rasputin right now, so.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really his, but yeah, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, this kind of in the deal, it works out that we will get, you know, we're doing more of an aligning with being Drinax Navy than pirates, kind of in a way, and we'll get crew members for our 2 of our Harriers, so we don't have to fuck with that. They're training them, so you know.
That sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah.
Was there anybody that objected to the getting both of them? Or
No, things were kind of we all thought it was good to get both of them, but again, you know, you're the captain, and I don't want to, you know, override. You know, I mean, you should have, even if you're not here, I feel you should get some authority in how things went down. You know, we were trying to use commodities that we couldn't use to get ships that, you know, have the high tech and standards that we used to have. With, you know, 2 Harriers and the Osiris. I mean, that's like getting the Power Rangers their Megazord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially with you guys, Emily, and if we're just talking about Drinax as a power, the fact that you are fielding 1 Rorix command ship with 2 Harriers, right then and there makes you a major power in the region. And then add to the fact that now Drinax has a 3rd Harrier that they can keep, and the Rasputin. Drinax is for a pocket empire navy. They're pretty impressive for the Trojan Reach. I mean, they don't have anything over 1,000 tons, but for considering that most of these planets have nothing. They might have a system defense boat, and most planets don't even have that. They have a cadre of you know, merchant ships, small, 200 to 600 ton range, and they might have some hired mercenaries from the Glorious Empire, and that is the bulk of it. So, you guys have put Drinax into a powerful position, and right now you're holding the bulk of the cards.
We also made a deal with the tradesmen in the floating palace. We, you know, that naval base where we got the Rasputin from, you know, it's just a bunch of artifacts all through there and everything. We gave him that information. He's going to go get the artifacts, sell them. Of course, King Oleb's going to make a killing, all that, but whatever. But at the end, when the stuff that he gets to sell and make a profit on, we get 5% of that.
Right.
So now every time we show up at the palace, we can run and that's going to go right into the ship fund. You know, your note sheet, not mine. Yeah. And you're like, yeah.
No, I would say that Ting and Gregor did a really good job setting this up, and pretty much every time a decision came up, they would sit there and talk between themselves about, well, what do we think Beth would want, and so how would the captain want to deal with this? So
that's awesome. Thanks, guys. You guys are a good crew.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that they actually, I every time they came up with their decision, I'm like, I pretty much think that she's going to be fine with that, and they're like, well,
sounds
you know,
good. so far.
Yeah. And now we're going to this. We
Nice.
went to this big meeting and shit. That is nice. Went to this big meeting and shit, and we ended up talking to this noble guy. You guys had saved him a long time ago. And he, in theory, can clear our names, but in order to do it, we have to go relax on his planet Tobias, way off in Imperium space.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and open that up. Welcome to the Pirates of Drinax. We are going to pick up where we left off last week. These guys, so speaking along those lines, these guys, they went to a grand ball event, whatever you want to call it, with King Oleb and many other higher ups from Drinax, on courtesy of the Duke of Tobia, and it happened on Tobia, and it was the I guess the official quote unquote launch event of the RSS Deep Night Revelation. And the corporation known as Deep Night Exploration, is it Deep? Yes, Deep Night Exploration LLC or LIC Limited Imperial Corporation. They have embarked on this fool's errand of doing a massive exploration to the edge of the Great Rift, and it is estimated to be a 20-year round-trip journey for the crew of that ship. And the Imperium sold Deep Night at a pretty steep discount, sold them a in quotes, demilitarized Amara-class 75,000-ton cruiser. And there were some shortcuts taken in the demilitarization of that ship. And anybody who knows anything about the military will know that this kind of shit happens all the time. So one of the things that the Imperium, when they were selling this Amara class, they said, well, this thing has a spinal mount particle gun. And when I say, like, it runs the entire length of the ship, this thing's fucking huge. And they're like, well, they're going to be converting this to an exploration ship. They're a civilian company. We really don't want to sell that to them. So maybe we'll put in the smaller spinal mount, because Deep Night said, well, we could actually use that because it's of scientific use. Because you can shoot that particle beam at nebula or the atmosphere of a gas giant, and you can get all sorts of scientific data from that. And so the military's like, well, we could swap it out for a smaller one. And Deep Night's like, that's okay. Okay, yeah, we'll take that. But then the Imperial Navy looked at it and said, well, it's going to cost a lot of money to tear this thing out and put in a smaller one. And we got to pay a lot of man hours, and fuck it, we'll just sell it as is. It's cheaper to just let them have it. And what do we care what they use it on when they're outside of Imperial space? We don't care. So here you go. And there was a whole series of things about that, but there was this big grand event that happened on Tobia, and you guys were all present. And one of the people that you met there was a gentleman named Sir Willard Vorstaten. And Sir Willard Vorstaten, his introduction, did he talk to Tang or Gregor? I know he tapped one of you on the shoulder. I think it was Gregor.
At first, it was
I think you're muted. I think you're muted, Gregor.
He's talking, but I don't hear it.
Yeah.
Just try moving the top part of your head instead of your jaw. Maybe we'll hear.
Now you're muted in Skype.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's Well, that's weird. It does not show you as muted.
I have to restart Skype.
Oh, very peculiar.
It's dirty.
So, anyways, Sir Willard Vorstaten, I believe it was Gregor, tapped you guys on the shoulder and kind of engaged him in conversation, and then kind of under his breath whispered that he thought he knew who you guys really were. Because of course you're at this event in your super secret disguises, and Sir Willard basically guessed correctly that he knew who you guys were, even though he had never met Gregor before. And his tale was that he believes that his life was saved by the infamous pirates of Drinax when his safari ship had a major malfunction as it emerged from jump space, and it crashed into an ancient space station. And you guys bravely said, fuck no, we're not going on that space station, because the space station had a disease that basically changed the brain chemistry and had split the groups on this station into two factions. And they both spoke, because it changed their brains, they speak different languages. And you guys were like, nope, we're not going on that station. And so Ching Shi actually piloted a shuttle over. You guys cut a hole and attached a docking collar, and then spacewalked back to the Harrier and said, okay, you guys are on, we've done what we're going to do, you're on your own. And that was enough for Sir Willard and his group to get off. And he has forever been thanking the infamous Pirates of Drinax since. And he has been wanting to... He has made several attempts to try and get in touch with you guys. And
we're easy to find is the sad part of the
whole. Well, he has tried to get in touch with you guys multiple times, and throughout the course of play, you guys have always been like, no, we don't want anything to do with that. we do not want to deal with Imperials. It's a trick. We're going to get trapped. And so he came across as rather sincere, and he is aware that there was some unfortunate events involving nuclear missiles and an Imperial patrol corvette, and he believes that he can maybe grease the wheels and try to maybe not make it go away, but at least lessen the impact of that. And you know, take a step towards clearing your name, or you know, at least lowering the heat that's on you. And he invited you to... He recently took over the estate of an Imperial noble who was running the planet Gore. And Gore is in the Tobia subsector. And Gore is Imperial only in name. Most of the people that live on Gore, they never think about the Imperium. It is a agricultural world. It has a very low tech level, and you know, most of these people are farmers. They don't care who the Emperor of the Imperium is. They don't care what's going on. What they do care about is whether or not it's going to rain, and if their cattle have enough feed. And so Sir Willard has taken over that Imperial estate, and it is his job to shepherd these people and do what he can to try and raise their kind of, I don't know, ultimately raise their tech level, raise their cultural value to the Imperium kind of thing. And he's a young man, he's out of his league, and he's also very lonely since he got there, because none of these people want to deal with a nobleman. And so, and none of these people are spacers in the first place. So he has invited you to come to his estate for a little vacation, a week or two, whatever. And, while you're there, just keep him company for a week or two, and he'll do what he can. And assuming everything goes right, I mean, unless you guys completely blow that, and I don't really foresee that happening. And
well, I do want to kidnap him and his ship on the way, but I doubt she'll let us do it. But
No, I'm proud of us.
I'm casing the place. I prefer to find something to steal.
well, there's going to be a lot to steal.
Being an ex-thief.
So before we get started, we'd like to thank one of the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They're just products that we really like. And since Glenn already showed off his tin of Fable Beard Company Beard Balm, the Hero, which is funny because that's what I'm wearing as well, we would like to thank Fable Beard Company. They make beard products such as balms, butters, co-wash, oils. They have beard wash, deodorant. I think they have spray-on colognes. Anyways, all of their scent profiles are a different fantasy character. As I said, we're wearing the Hero. The Hero is a light cologne-scented beard balm, good for getting rid of those flyaways and being able to style your beard and keep it nice and neat. But they have many different scent profiles, so I'm sure that they have one that would suit you. And if you are a first-time purchaser, you can go to fablebeardco.com, create an account, and they have a buy one get one free option for first-time buyers. You can put two products, or put a product and a beard oil into your cart, and when you check out, use the code FIRST in all capital letters, and that beard oil or second product will be discounted to free.
It's favored by dwarves and mages.
yes, it is. If you are a fan of the channel, we do have a merch store via Zazzle. We've got a whole bunch of products on there, but the cheapest ones, and I don't know, they're kind of fun, are buttons. And so we've got the Greenwater Guildhall button, and then we have the Pirates of Drinax pirate button. I'm trying to get away from the glare. And all of the proceeds from that store goes right directly back into the channel. We've got T-shirts. We've got a fleece blanket that comes in 3 different sizes. We got stuff. Oh, we got a beer stein that actually makes a better gigantic coffee mug than it does a beer stein. But what are you gonna do? So if you'd like to support the channel, go buy a button. Get a T-shirt. Wear it loud and proud, and we thank you. So yeah, we were talking earlier that I am working on the next adventure in the Brawnhaven campaign, and I am still I'm still waiting for the proof to come of the next book called The Skellis Mountains. And as soon as I get that and I can approve it, God, I'm hoping I can approve it immediately. Cross your fingers, because it's taking several weeks. That as soon as I get that and it's approved, I can put that up for sale. It will be available. All of the books are available in either PDF or print on demand via DriveThruRPG, and you can get them in PDF form from Big Geek Emporium. So yeah, check out our Brawnhaven campaign. That game actually plays on Saturdays and at 12 o'clock PST. So, you guys, this is the subsidized liner, the Lucas Christie. It is, it belongs to Sir Willard Vorstaten, or at least that's incorrect. It belongs to Sir Willard's family, and I can tell you a bit more about the knight. So Sir Willard, when I said that he's young, he's 27. And you guys have been playing Traveler long enough, you know that 27, he's, let's see.
He's barely out of training.
So, yeah, he's barely into his 3rd term. So, and that's not including if he went to college. which of course he went to college. So he's only been in one term, and he's young. He of course he went to college. He actually went to the Naval Academy. He was assigned to the gunnery branch on a battleship, which can be, in times of peace, can be quite boring. And but after one term, he mustered out. He is actually a member of the Atsaw branch of the Vorstaten family, and so this ship, the Lucas Christie, actually belongs to the Atsaw family, and for use by members. It is, for all intents and this is not like any subsidized liner that you've ever been on, and you've seen a couple that were quite nice. You've seen some others that weren't. I mean, you have one that it's questionable. Of course, it's also been gutted and turned into a gunship, but this one is more like a yacht. Everything is just absolute splendor on here, and so you've been given the best rooms available, and you are not the only passengers on this ship, so Sir Willard is actually traveling in a separate vessel, and this is more for the friends and family of the Atsaw branch of the Vorstaten family, and so this is this is his entourage's ship, and so it is traveling from Tobia directly to Gore, and he tells you that he will meet you there, and when you arrive at the starport, he has told you ahead of time. He says, the train. So there are the major mode of transportation between towns on Gore is railway, and when I say railway, I don't mean like maglev trains. I don't mean like the Disneyland monorail. Nope, we're talking steam engines, because they're very reliable, and so but out of the starport, the train, I want to say there are only 2 trains a day run, and so he has already, he says not to worry about it. He has set up plans that when you land, you will have train tickets available, and there will be lodging in the best hotel in the starport will be available to you for the night, and then in the morning you will board the train and head out. His estate is just outside of a small frontier town in Gore called Rakken-Goll, and while you are aboard the Lucas Christie, you guys have plenty of time. You kind of learn that you've never been to Gaul, and it's been quite some time since you spent any time on a world inside the Imperium, and so this is. Gore is a little bit of a different planet than what you would normally consider. Most of you would probably bypass Gore completely. I mean, unless you're trading in cattle or in hay or maybe in railroad spikes, there's not too many reasons that a trade ship would stop here. They do, of course, stop here, but small traders, I don't know. There's just not a whole lot of reason for you to do that. So, Gore would be one that you would probably bypass. It is very, very low tech, and you discover that the term Goll, Goll, is a term, it's local slang on Gore that basically describes an area of high ground that's characterized by multiple low peaks and occasionally a mesa. There are dry galls, more commonly just called galls. They have much the same vegetation as like lower areas, unless they're very unless they're very steep. And then there are wet galls, which are less common. They're usually they have a depression among the high terrain and are characterized by upland marsh or like a small lake. And usually they're the source of one or two small rivers, and they'll often have a settlement nearby that is, of course, taking advantage of that water source. The problem with galls is that they're not good cattle country, so they usually are ignored by the farm people. Vegetation on the galls is left in its virgin state and provides habitats for native wildlife on Gore. Some of those creatures are capable of threatening a herd because, they're predators. And expeditions to go up the Gall are a semi-regular feature because they got to put down whatever predator is threatening their herds. And so Rakken-Goll would be a town that is kind of in the shadow of one of these mesas. And during your time on your yacht, and we actually, so these, so
we're not gonna take the yacht over and just go back to Drinax. That's right.
So the Lucas Christie is a jump 3 capable ship. I don't think it has no weapons, but it has card tables, it has slot machines. Most of that is all up here in number 4, and 5. This is the grand dining area casino, and it's got viewports. The 3 is of course lined with card tables, and this is all, the outer circle is all windows so that you can see. Of course, in jump space, those are shuttered so that you don't possibly go crazy. I forgot what I was just going to do. Okay. So yeah, oh, I remember what I was going to do. So, let's see here. We are going...
It's got a theater.
Oh, yeah. It's got fucking everything. So this is...
It's got a gym, and I'm in there training. Let's wrestle.
Oh, here is Tobia all the way over here. And you're going to Gore, which is here. And this is a jump 3. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. So in 3 jumps, it is going to be at Gore. And
does he have a sensei on board?
Probably. Maybe.
I need to practice. Of course, mine's all army style, so it's pretty rough and tumble.
Yeah, I mean, probably. Actually, I don't know. They're probably. I wouldn't say a sensei. There is likely to be some kind of mixed martial arts kind of trainer aboard. And of course, part of that mixed martial arts is going to be fencing. Because
actually, I prefer an épée.
Well, either way, sword fighting is, of course, a rich person's sport.
Yes, it's required loyal.
Yes.
But being a poor person, I prefer something that actually works.
Right.
I would enjoy some fencing, definitely.
Well, I used to actually fence. I used to actually really fence.
We've been pretty good at fencing. I mean, we have taken a lot of stolen materials and moved them across. I mean, we would be top-notch fencers.
Yeah.
Very true.
But my
That
skill is unarmed. I'm a
Yeah.
melee guy.
Well, so this guy, like I said, if you have, he's good enough with melee unarmed, that if you want to spend some time, you would have to spend 3 jumps, that's 3 weeks plus or minus, so probably looking at about 5 weeks worth of travel time with refueling and whatnot. And of course, minor stops in port that are mostly inconsequential. But hey, you guys are safe. Now, if you wanted to spend all 5 weeks of that training with this guy, if you have no melee unarmed, you could automatically increase your melee unarmed to 0 without spending any XP points. You could just take melee unarmed 0, or you could spend 5 weeks and you could learn melee blade at 0. If you have melee blade 0, you could raise it to 1.
I'll do blade because it says 0.
Yeah. Now,
unfortunately, mine's already a 1, so I can't do anything there.
what about your unarmed?
It's a 1.
Unarmed is at 0.
I will say that if you wanted to raise unarmed to 1, you can go ahead and do that. Now, you couldn't go any higher than 1 because this guy is literally, you have become as good as the master at this point. He's not a combat expert, but usually most nobles, one of the conversations that they had about Sir Willard Vorstaten was that he was wearing a dress sword, and he hated it.
The thing is 4.5 feet long.
Yeah, it's ridiculously oversized. Let's see where.
It's like a great big giant foil. There's no edges to it. It's just a huge.
Vorstaten dress sword. It does have an edge, and it's very pointy, but it's basically massively large.
It's a massive foil.
Yes, and he hates the damn thing. It's heavy. It's awkward. It's worth an immense amount of money, and it's mostly just for show. And these guys all saw nobles at this party wearing them, and that's just what nobles wear. And the thought, of course, is that you could, at some point in high society, for whatever reason, be challenged to a duel. And so that is usually done with swords of some kind. And so all nobles are supposed to be at least competent. So that usually means melee blade 0, melee blade 1. It's very rare that you see somebody better than that unless they really get off on dueling and killing folk. And then you might see a 2. But most of the time, nobles are going to be just like the rest of you and use a handgun. So
wait a minute. I read a story about the garden party they were going to have and there was somebody with the blade 3. And he was really favored, but he was really favored to win the.
Well, yes, right. Yeah. Well, that's why. Yeah, because he really, really likes stabbing people. But so the other thing that, of course, Tobia has some rather strict laws. Of course, it's Imperial space. As if Beth was like Mal from Firefly, she'd be, ain't none of you stepping foot on that fancy rock. But yeah, so of course, being a plant.
With that in mind, Keith, you just got melee 1, unarmed 1. Is that what you just did? Because
Keith, did you get unarmed 1?
Yeah, I upgraded my unarmed to 1.
Then what I'm gonna do is because I don't need my piston fist anymore, I'll let you have that, it's the piston fist that's on the page 106 of the Central Supply catalog. Does 3D plus 2 with your unarmed punch. Wow, it's really nice. But I don't. Yeah, I don't need it because I have my arc field claws that do more damage. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, here, take these because these are badass, and they're pretty good for harder law levels. You know.
I'll stick with my brass knuckles.
So I'm going to take this off of my character sheet. You can have it.
He's writing it down.
Yeah, the piston fist basically has a hydraulic punch in the wrist part, and when you smack somebody, it just comes out, punches them with a hydraulic hammer. I don't know which is worse, the piston fist or knuckle blasters. Basically, knuckle blasters has 4 12-gauge shotgun shells across the knuckles, and when you punch somebody, they go off.
But then you have to take the time to reload them.
And then you got to reload them, right?
Yeah, this piston fist, you can just go knocking people and hitting that good solid 3D plus 2.
Nice.
You know. Yeah, but it'll negate. I believe now it'll negate your strength bonus. You know what I mean? Like you're just going to cap out at that constant 3D, but it's still 3D versus 1D is.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Right.
Yeah. It's got a really good knockout power to it. Or if you got to go unarmed, I love going unarmed. So
thank you, King.
You're welcome, brother.
So you guys have
kill some nobles.
You have your rooms down here in 12. These 12s down here on deck 2. These are the high luxury staterooms. You are traveling as the personal guests of Sir Willard. And, of course, all of the crew and staff know that. And so, there's a hot tub. There's a pool. There is a gym for you to learn some martial arts. And, of course, there is all manner of gambling and whatnot going on up here at the head of the ship. And So over the course of 5 weeks, you guys kind of, you don't live as high on the hog as you might. I mean, you're spending some time in the gym. Ting, what are you doing during the 5 weeks?
I am going.
He's meditating.
Well, no, I am going to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to work on my assassin droid.
You wouldn't have the assassin droid with you.
I said I brought it with me.
Yeah. You mean right. The little itty bitty box.
Bag.
Right. Yeah.
Not the killer drone.
Right. I was thinking of the Sindalian Deathbot. I'm like, you're probably not bringing that with you.
No, but I want to start writing an AI for him, so that way, when I can upgrade his processing unit, maybe I can give him a little bit more sentient. Then I can give him more complex tasks.
Yeah.
Things like that. So that I'm going to start this process out with writing an AI program for him.
Okay, so you can go ahead and make a electronics, computers plus intellect or education, your choice.
All right. I'm going to do it with.
And what TL is your portable computer?
I'm rolling at a 14.
So you get an additional +2 to that because the Creeper Assassin droid is only a TL12 robot.
All right. Well, then let's do it at +5 and see what I do. How about a 12?
Yeah. So you are in the process, and of course, I would say that would probably it's probably going to writing AI is going to take longer than 5 weeks, but you are well on your way into coding this new batch of code, a custom batch, as it were, for this droid. Now, the question then, of course, have you gone through the robotics handbook and looked at what it takes to create a brand new robot?
No, I have not.
So what you will want to do, and let me look. So this one, it's going to be hard to do a lot better. The Creeper Assassin already has advanced programming, which gives it an intellect of 9, which for a robot, that's pretty good. I mean,
I'm trying to create my own artificial intelligence.
I mean, I have fully adult friends that I would classify as intellect 9.
Right, I understand. But, I mean, you get what I'm saying? I'm trying to make, like, a shenanigans level of AI to install in the robot.
So
that's going to take some time.
You can wander around and pull off practical jokes.
Well, no, it is so that way I can send it on missions and it can think, and I don't have to micromanage the damn thing.
Oh, it already can do that. At advanced intellect 9, it can already do that. But I would say, what?
Well, then I will spend this time learning how to manipulate my fucking assassin's droid, and get better equipped with it, acquainted with it.
Okay.
If it's already programmed and can do everything that I kind of want it to do, then this will be my role play moment where I'm fucking with the damn thing and talking to it, bonding with it, and all that. The end result is what I give a fuck about, and that's I want to be able to give it complex tasks. I can get another something that can be the death bot from Fallout, with an AI.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
to drop off at friends' parties.
I would highly recommend, and like I said, you don't have to read the whole book, but go through the section on the robot handbook about not necessarily creating a robot traveler, but go through the section on creating a robot from scratch. And I love the direction they took with this book, because it has a worksheet that you can fill out, and when you are done, you have all of the information you need that can be transferred over to a robot character sheet. And they did it basically just generates, this worksheet just generates a stat block for you, and they did a fantastic job. In fact, I've considered turning it into a spreadsheet that'll just plug in the numbers and it just automatically spits out a stat block, but I haven't gotten that much motivation yet. So I would recommend looking at that. But that is possible. But you are 5 weeks into basically digging around in this thing's code, and it's got all manner of nifty things. So we know that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, well, cool. Yeah, I'm getting familiar with my assassin robot, especially I'm trying to incorporate that more in what I do. So
okay,
see how that works out.
And just to show everybody, this is stat block for the Creeper Assassin droid. It's the little four-legged spidery thing. And yeah, so I mean, it's got advanced intellect 9 programming, but it's got all manner of cool shit. It can walk up and down walls with gecko grippers. Got a PRIS sensor. I mean, this thing's pretty scary.
It's got a little laser weapons mount, I believe.
It has a monoblade.
Okay. Yeah.
With AP-10.
Yeah. Yeah, the monoblade's better. Monoblade's better than a laser in a lot of cases, because it's just going to slice right through armor.
Yep. It'll let it go through and walk around better. It's very nice.
So
it does have a weapons mount, small.
Which I mount. That's probably what that's probably what is holding the monoblade.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, and it's got melee blade 3, so it's better at blade combat than most nobles. So Gregor and Keith, you are spending your time in the gym. What is Beth doing?
Getting trashed.
She's in the salon.
You certainly could be getting trashed. Go ahead and make a carouse plus social or charm check.
Okay. Rounds. Eight.
Okay. So you actually make friends, friendly acquaintances with a number of nobles that are traveling on this same luxury liner. And of course, Gore is just one of the stops that it is going to make. It is going to continue on its journey to other destinations, probably leaving from Gore, probably heading towards the Spinward Marches, Deneb, places of that nature. And so you are able to make a number of friendly acquaintances with a number of the other rich and elite passengers aboard. And of course, everybody knows who you guys are. Now, like I said, the laws on Gore were or are fairly strict, and being mostly run by cattle towns. Of course, firearms are just a fact of life. They're a tool, and but that doesn't mean that everybody on Gore walks around with weapons. So the basic law of Gore is that, well, let's see. It's I have this already here, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. So Gore has a law level of 7. That's not what I wanted. There we go. And that means that you are. We looked this up last week, but so law level of 7 pretty much means that you are limited to like mesh. Cloth armor would be acceptable if it is cloth armor that is, weaved into like a jacket or something like that. A diplomatic vest would be okay. But if you're just walking around in, full cloth armor, that could be problematic. Sidearms and blades are acceptable. Shotguns are acceptable, but pretty much anything bigger than that, you're going to get questioned a lot due to the law level on Gore. Now, Sir Willard, of course, told you a bit about life on this world, which he describes as he describes it as his job as fulfilling, but at the same time, you could tell that he's fairly bored. But this is the standard fare for firearms on Gore, tech level 3. They're essentially the same gun. The carbine just has a little bit longer range, and because of that, has a little bit more of a punch. But aside from that, they are pretty much they're 8-shot revolvers, and this is pretty much what everybody on Gore carries. And Sir Willard, he told you ahead of time, what the rules and laws are, and he doesn't think that if you step out of the starport into a town or onto the train, and as long as your sidearms are secured in their holsters, you're probably not going to have a problem. So I mean, you can pick what sidearm you're going to carry. I think a couple of these guys are. I think Ting and Gregor are packing like Gauss pistols, and
Yeah,
I
that
suppose
seems
Cephas that
reasonable.
carries a pistol. Ting brings grenades.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
You brought like what, 3 grenades? But
Yeah.
they're stashed in your luggage.
Right.
You're not going to be walking around
because
with grenades on your belt.
No, but I'll bring a stun grenade with me out of my luggage.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Beth, with your 8, you kind of hobnob. If you would like with your 8, you won't get any bonus to it, but you can make, if you have gamble, you could make a gamble plus intellect check.
I don't think I have gambler.
Well, I mean, you could try it anyways at a -3.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, Jack of all trades. Is she used that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Jack of all trades. She has Jack of all trades at 3.
Oh, then yes. Then that
Mhm.
means that it is just plus your intellect or bonus.
oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, I remember the characters that came out of that group that we created got like uber lucky. Like I think both Beth and Ching Shi ended up coming out with Jack of all trades 3. And like I've never seen that happen ever. And whatever.
I got 8 again. For
Okay.
My gambling.
So how much did you bet?
3 million.
5K. I'm at 5,000.
Okay. So with an 8, you are able to win back 2,000.
Oh, cool. It was still fun. It was worth it.
And so you are doing a pretty good job for 5 weeks of pretty much staying drunk, eating the shrimp cocktail, and living the high life, as it
Trying to
were.
relax is what I was thinking after all that shit.
Yeah.
I just want to kick back.
It's so funny. Something that you had said at the end of all that, I still laugh about because I know what the next leg of this is going to be. It's so funny. It's so ironic that that's what you said. Like that, like little miss foreshadowing here. So, you at the end of your why does it keep doing that? There we go. At the end of your 5 weeks, you arrive at Gore. And this is Gore. The Gore system has a single primary star. Gore itself is only 0.2 AU from an M5 5 star. So Gore is tidally locked, as you can see here, and kind of getting baked, or you would think. But an M5 isn't really as hot as some of the other other suns, and so but yeah, Gore is tidally locked and fairly dry. Now that doesn't mean that occasional storms can come ripping through the planet, but what it does mean is that because of the elliptical orbit, it does go through periods of extreme drought. And you board the launch. Is it a launch? I want to say it's a launch.
There was a launch on that merchant ship we were just on.
Yes, it is a launch. And so the launch starts to ferry people down to the starport, which is right there. And what does it say that is? Oh, it's in a mountainous region. So there's a lot of galls there. And so the starport is pretty much to Imperial standards. It is a Class C starport. Not the worst starport you've ever seen, but the Star Town does have all of the recommended amenities. You are put up in a private hotel, not one of the chain hotels such as I can't even remember that. Well, anyways, you can't be put up. You're not put up into one of the chain hotels. You're put up into a rather luxury hotel, and you have noble suites up on the top floor, and your entire bill is paid for.
It's pirate lords we ought to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sir Willard Vorstaten is taking care of his friends. Is basically.
Yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna ride the ride, enjoy stuff that's going on.
And so, like, outside of the
Obviously, outside we certainly can't go out for a walk in the sunside.
Yeah, you can. And so Gore. Let me see. What does it say about Gore?
It says
So it has so it says that it has the potential to be a major world, but its society itself is holding it back. There are 4 million or so people that are divided into multiple small states, and cooperation is invariably short-lived. The starport is modest, surrounded by a mid-tech city, but the rest of the planet is typically at the lower end of TL3. Steam power and rail transport represents the pinnacle of local technology. So Gore is actually a wet world overall. But some areas, such as the one you are in, are prone to heavy drought. And this is a drought season. You can see, outside the town or the star town, you can see that things are dry as dust. Like you can literally see the tumbleweeds blowing by, and it doesn't look like it's rained here in weeks. And
just like Phoenix.
Yes, a lot like Phoenix. Yes, almost exactly like Phoenix. And so, that of course is a major problem. There's a lot of people around the Star Town or inhabitants, people that live on the world itself that come in to do any business at the Star Town. They're talking about how this drought is going to be, the end of everybody unless something changes soon. And so the next day you catch the train, and the train, one of its stops, of course, is the town of Rakken-Goll, which is just outside the Vorstaten estate. And this is the train that you will be traveling upon. And it looks like it's right out of a Soleimani cowboy video. The Soleimani really love their cowboy movies, and this looks like it's right out of an old-time Soleimani vid. And so the journey to the town of Rakken-Goll is not that comfortable. So the train. It's
a 3+2. It's a 6+2. That's pretty modern.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
for a steam train.
Yes. And so the train itself, though, is fairly modest. There is a dining car. There is the seats are a little bit uncomfortable. Definitely not the lap of luxury that you've been living in for the past 5 weeks or so, and it is what it is. But it takes several hours to travel to the estate. Now, you pull in to Rakken-Goll. This is the journey that the train is going to be taking. So. This, of course, is the rail line, and it travels to the northwest to the rather large town of Rakken-Goll here, and then this, of course, is a blow-up of the town of Rakken-Goll. And the train comes into the railway station. And this is a nice shot of kind of what you see. It's just desert. And the rail station appears to just be a small, wood structure like you would see in a Wild West town. And you get off, and there is a guy standing there, and he's got a sign up that says "Guess of Sir Willard," and he's wearing a fairly nice suit, actually. He's got a button-up shirt and a tie.
Well, that's our guy, I guess. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. Are you still, happy with the decision to not just jack the liner and?
And so
I am, yes.
Yeah.
All of you can
all
make
chafed and everything for that rough ride.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it is like a 7-hour journey on this uncomfortable
Feel free to
train.
speak to the manager, man. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm surprised it's not 2 days.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. This is kind of nice.
Yeah, it could be worse. And so this guy holding the sign, all of you can make a recon plus intellect check.
I got 11.
Ooh, jeez.
He's got 9.
Okay. What did Gregor get?
Gregor has to go back to the other screen.
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling. Oh, it looks like you all got it. Okay, so you can all tell that this guy is packing a pistol in a shoulder holster under his jacket. And this is what this gentleman looks like. And when you step off the train and walk up to him, he introduces himself as Dravid Moraine. He is the personal driver for Sir Willard Vorstaten, and he seems like he's a fairly nice guy. He's not overly talkative, but he answers any questions you might have. The town of Rakken-Goll is well, you notice a couple of things. You guys got really good recon scores. So the town of Rakken-Goll is almost the similar size as the Star Town at the port, but you do notice that tech level is significantly lower. The other thing that you notice, there are a number of I guess you could call them police types or constable types walking around. They are openly packing a pistol, and the badge that they wear on their jackets doesn't identify them as marshals or sheriffs. It identifies them as railway security. And Dravid explains that the rail company, and their name is... So the Rakken-Goll Railway Company is more. It's more than just controlling the rail line, of course. They are also basically they're known as the company, and they are also tasked with emergency services, police services, fire, medical, that kind of thing. And but they are of course a private company. The other major factors here in town is the Fovent and Crace Landowners Collective, and they're basically a loose association of landowners that meet here in Rakken-Goll, trying to come up with solutions to their current problems, and their current problem being the drought. And so water rights are a huge pressing issue in the area. And then, of course, there's the Rakken-Goll City Administration that tries to get everybody to play nice with one another. And the the collective meets generally in the stockyards, while the city administration meets in the admin center, and then of course the railway company is based out of the rail station. There is a commercial district, but unless you have immense need for revolvers, post hole diggers, and probably plates with paintings of ducks on them, you're not going to find a whole lot here.
I want one of those local pistols.
You certainly could purchase one. So this is how much they go for. 200 or 100 credits, and you can get a Gorian revolver.
Yeah, that way I can pack in the open.
Yeah, you could.
And how much is the resolve? How much is ammunition?
6 credits per 8 rounds. Per magazine.
I'll buy one.
So so the way the guns are made is that the cylinders are detachable, and you can just pop in a 8-round cylinder to quick reload. Most people don't do that. Loaded cylinders are pretty heavy, and they're bulky, but it is a possibility.
I'll buy a revolver, and it's 6 credits. I'll buy 5 reloads of bulk pistol ammunition.
Okay, that works.
That's 130.
You can also purchase cowboy hats here for anywhere between 30 and 200 credits, depending on how fancy you want to get. Dravid thinks it's great that you're going local by.
I'm gonna get a hat.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna go all out. 200 credits.
I didn't realize that was an option. My cowboy hat, yes. I'm all about
I'm
it.
imagining the episode of Futurama where the Wongs buy the ranch on Mars.
I'm gonna get me a set of chaps and
Heck yeah.
some chaps and a leather vest.
There, yeah,
with
yes.
the little fringy things
Oh, yeah.
around everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And maybe some boots.
Oh yeah,
You know?
those are available.
Yeah, and that's all I'm wearing.
But you're a fish. I mean, you're a mammal fish.
No, that's
No,
the other game.
That's Friday night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna go and
I
have
swear.
Fish
me
finger?
my
know,
chaps.
when we were at that ball and met this sir, I swear I saw myself off in the corner casing the place.
So you guys do a little bit of shopping in the commercial district, and then finally, after you could spend upwards of 500 credits purchasing, you could spend upwards of 1,000 credits if you want buying your Western outfits, and then finally Dravid,
I think I'll just wear my jacket, my cloth jacket.
Okay, so Dravid loads you guys up into a
gecko.
It is not a gecko. It is. It is.
I like geckos.
Yeah, gecko is like my favorite vehicle as well. It's actually similar to a gecko. Where is it?
Fucking landlubbers. The grav bikes are the way to go, man. Fucking fast, low to the ground, maybe with a little turret or something on it, to make things exciting. Yeah.
So I sit there with my laser sniper
Oh.
rifle from 3 miles away.
I prefer
Oh,
a
just
Segway. I'm just kidding.
So,
So this is the vehicle that Dravid is driving. This is I mean, it's actually a fairly for this planet. This is a fairly nice vehicle.
It's got a wet bar.
It is. It is made by Ling
But it's
Standard.
only
It
got
does have
2
a wet
liters.
bar. It is made by Ling Standard Products, and so he takes off, and the road out of town quickly goes from being fairly all right to barely a road and a dusty trail, and it kind of fluctuates between almost a dirt road to being paved to then gravel, and it kind of switches back and forth. And he mentions that part of Sir Willard's current project is to do infrastructure work. He says that the rail lines are really the purview of the Rakken-Goll rail company, but the roads that is something that Sir Willard is working towards resolving, and it takes about an hour, and you start to pull into
How do the local rail guys feel about Sir Willard developing roads?
The rail guys don't really mind it because the trains that leave out of Rakken-Goll, like I said, trains usually travel twice a day. The trains that are moving, the bulk of what they're moving are cattle. And so those aren't going to be something that's going to be not in any great numbers over the roads, for one. And two, these are electric vehicles, and so a journey of that kind of distance, people are just going to go ahead and take the train. And the other thing is that most people aren't using a Ling Standard Products SUV. I mean, these are imported to the Vorstaten estate for the nobility. Most people are going to be stuck with horseback. There are when you on the drive to the Vorstaten estate, you can see out the window. You can see numerous people herding cattle on actual horses. This may actually be one of the first times any of you have actually seen a Terran horse, and there are many of them that are out there riding just that. They are also riding another type of creature. Let me see if I... Oh, maybe I didn't get that one. But they are riding what appears to be almost like... Oh, yes, I did. They are riding a Kian, and Kian are like an ostrich-like creature. That look like this. Actually, I honestly do not think this is a very good art piece for this, but
it's a chocobo.
Yeah, it looks like a chocobo. Yeah, and Kian are excellent. They are very speedy. They're large, so they can be ridden. They kind of have a shitty disposition, but beyond that, I mean, if you can put up with a mule, you can probably put up with a Kian. And so you see a number of these, boogaloo wranglers out there, riding around on these large birds and horses, of course. And then you pull into, after about an hour and a half, you pull into the Vorstaten estate. And so this is the estate grounds with the main house here, and then he's got some very fancy gardens up here, and I'm not sure why this is also listed as number one. Oh, I guess this whole little enclosed area is all part of the house, and there's staff quarters and a utility building, and et cetera, et cetera.
Where's the grav landing pad?
They don't have one.
It's listed.
Is it?
Yeah, it says 7th grav landing pad.
That's
But it's never shown.
That is a good question.
It's right here.
I bet that's what the.
out of 1.
That's a
It's a
7.
7.
Okay.
All right.
Oh man, they need a better font. But anyways, yeah, you're right. You are correct. So this is your grav landing pad. I honestly
Got to keep Ting happy.
I don't even know that he has a grav vehicle. But hey, he's got someplace to land one when he finally purchases one. It's probably coming in on that next trade ship that comes to the starport. But so this is the Vorstaten estate, and as you are coming into the estate, off in the distance, you see that there is another farm, and hold on here. So as you pass the other farm, you can see that out in the field, there is somebody out there working on a irrigation line, and he sees the SUV coming by, and he takes his hat off and waves, and Dravid rolls down the window and waves at him, and he explains to you guys that is West Farm. West Farm lies obviously very close to the estate, and he tells you that it was bought out from the owning family along with the land upon which the estate house was built, and it was purchased at a really low price since the farm itself was struggling due to the drought. The original estate owners didn't really endear themselves to the folk of West Farm, but they treated them as really good tenants. And when the former landowners left, there was a bit of resentment that remained, and Sir Willard has taken a completely different approach to dealing with West Farm. He kind of deals with the people of West Farm as if they are. He treats all of his household staff as if they are almost family, and Dravid tells you that West Farm is run by, and he says this in quotes as he's driving, Old Man Sarvia, whose real name is Andrew Sarvia. He's anything but an old man. He's only 41. And Dravid kind of laughs. He goes, it's kind of an inside joke that we call him Old Man Sarvia. His wife is Darrell Sarvia. She's just a little bit younger than Andrew. And then they have a son, Rakes, who is 22, and they have a 17-year-old son named Jorge, and they have a 15-year-old daughter named Medine, and then of course there is their uncle, who is. And actually, Jorge is an adopted son, and then there is Jorge's uncle, Seuss, and that is pretty much makes up West Farm. And Dravid says you'll get to meet all of them. They are going to be coming for dinner tonight, and so he pulls up to the house. And standing out front is, of course, Sir Willard, and then you see that there's a female Vargur, and there is a rather nerdy-looking individual, and Sir Willard comes stepping out, and as you step out of the SUV, Sir Willard introduces all of these people. The Vargur he introduces as Rungva Oxtites. She is his legal and financial advisor.
I don't think I want to bid against her.
right. And she comes over and shakes all of your hands. Sir Willard says Rungva has served House Vorstaten since she was a young adult, and we made sure to pay for her to receive a good education. And he kind of pats Dravid on the shoulder. And he says, like Dravid, she is a part of our family, and she goes wherever I go. And then he introduces the nerdy looking guy. And introduces him as Tix Kerensky. And he tells you that he just says that Tix is my tech wrangler. And Tix kind of adjusts his glasses and shakes your guys' hands and says that he's actually, tech wrangler is as good of a job title as anything, but he tells you that he is the electronics expert, and it's his job to make sure that that the Vorstaten estate has electronics and a connection to the starport. Now, one of the things that you guys notice is that none of your mobile comms are worth a damn. There is no global mobile comm network on this planet. However, when you get close to the Vorstaten estate, you start to pick things up on your mobile comm, and the reason for that is, and that Tix explains to you, is that he has set up a direct communications link with the starport, and so they get whatever the latest news is that is coming in from ships landing at the starport. So any expo news or things of that manner, they can receive that at the estate, as well as local news and weather information from ships that are passing overhead that they relay to the starport. So this is the Vorstaten estate is one of the best places to connect to anything. And so Sir Willard tells you, he says, well, I imagine that you're all very tired from your journey, and we have rooms available for you if you need to rest. He says, of course, I will be in the parlor, and you're welcome to join me there for some afternoon drinks.
Yeehaw!
Yeah,
Let's mosey on over.
I'm gonna go ahead and go to the drinks.
Okay, so everybody can make a recon plus social check.
You don't want to do that.
I got 11.
I
Six
get a
is-
6.
6 isn't as bad as you might think.
I also got 11.
Okay.
I mean, my social's -1 DM, so
So actually, all of you got it. Even with your 6, you succeed. You could tell that. So when Sir Vorstaten tells you this, he says, so he was being gracious, but he knows what the train's like. He assumes you're probably all tired. That was a very long, uncomfortable journey. He's being nice by offering you, to go up to your rooms and get some rest. But in reality, you can tell that he is quite lonely and really would like the company. And so you guys follow him into what he refers to as a sitting room. There's a pool table. He's got a full bar that's completely stocked, and he tells you, go ahead and make yourselves whatever you'd like to drink. The pool table's open. We can shoot some pool, have a couple of laughs and talk. He says, tonight we will be having a formal dinner. I've invited the Sarvia family from West Farm. They will be joining us for dinner. So please bear with me. And I understand that you're probably used to a higher caliber social interaction than what you'll probably get with the Sarvia family. But bear with me; they're very good people.
Do you have Newcastle Brown Ale?
That's a really good question. I don't. He does not.
Well, I guess we have to leave.
I'd like some scotch.
He's got.
I'll drink whatever.
He's got scotch. He's got whiskeys and all of it. He's got some wine. There's an entire wine cellar for this estate.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink the most expensive fucking wine he's got.
Go for it. Yeah, he's like, no, that's fine. And so he basically explains to you that his biggest concern. So during this little small amount of time before the official dinner or the fancy dress dinner happens, is he explains to you that his biggest problem is gaining credibility with the locals. And he has been attempting to gain credibility by working to restore the roads. One of the reasons why his predecessor was moved on to other things was because he just wasn't doing anything for the people. And being moved on to other things is slang for you're fired, and you're nobility can be fired too. And so he was like, I've got to gain credibility with these people, or else who knows where I'll end up. And
before roads, just a quick observation is perhaps you ought to try to pipe in water to different places before you worry about building big old roads.
He says that is also that's also on his list, and his plan is that he has to build the roads so that he can get the vehicles out there to actually dig the trenches to run the water lines from some of the wet galls and get them to where the farms can actually use them and build reservoirs. He says it's a long-term, unfortunately it's a long-term project, but I'm hoping that as soon as we get the roads taken care of, which we're expecting within the next year, that things will start to pick up speed, and these farmers will get the water that they need. This drought is terrible. Like, you got just stepping out of the vehicle, or stepping out of the SUV and walking to the house, every step kicks up a cloud of dust. Is how dry it is. But then you look at his private gardens up here at number 2, and you can see that the estate has water, so they're not afraid to use it. And so, he goes on that he's doing what he can to build his credibility with the locals, but he admits to you openly that he says beyond the infrastructure and piping in water during the drought, he says, I'm really at a loss. He says, I will be quite honest, I'm out of my element here. I'm not sure how to appeal to these people.
Maybe he should open a coliseum and have shows there.
Selling bread and circuses, man.
Yeah.
Oh no, they need to have gladiator contest.
I was thinking more along the lines of a rodeo, but
yeah, that would work too.
Same thing.
Yeah, they could ride cows.
They could ride cows.
Yeah, they're bored.
I heard that this old Soleimani tradition, they used to climb atop a pissed off bull and ride that around.
How do you feel about buying large quantities of argon?
I'm not sure. I am not. He kind of gets this baffled look. He's like, I'm not quite sure what we would do with argon.
Well, you would build lasers.
Yeah. Well, actually, though, argon is
or
actually
carbon dioxide. You could make lasers out of that too.
That's true, but argon is actually used in agriculture. Argon.
Ooh, well,
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah, that's
I so happen to know a place that has a very extensive supply of argon that would be willing to give you a wonderful deal, you know, if that would help soothe things over with the locals, you know, I'm sure we could work out a very agreeable document that your Varger friend could sign, or look and you could sign it. It'd be great, you know.
That is a possibility.
Come to one of those just shake my hand, no bullshit attached moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, so you guys are already in his fairly good graces. I mean, like I said, he feels like he owes you his life, or else, for all he knows, he may have been left on that wretched ancient space station.
Hey, do we get to know how he got out? Because it was pretty hazardous, I thought.
He admits that we lost three of our crew, but luckily due to my time in one of them was the pilot, and luckily due to my time in the Navy, though, I was able to pilot the shuttle that you had so graciously attached to the station, and we were able to make it back to the main habitat, and then call for help from there. And he says that you facilitated that. He says, I know that you couldn't risk coming into the station, or else you might have been infected, and I totally understand your position. I'd have done the same. And he says that you went so far as to not only take the shuttle, but did a spacewalk and cut a hole into the side of the station for people that you didn't even know. He says that made an indelible mark upon me.
I'm really impressed he made it out too. Like, I wasn't sure anybody was going to make it, so that's super cool.
Where are you getting the water that you have all your stuff looking all good?
We have a well, and he says, and that well does supply not only the estate, but it also supplies West Farm, and there is another farm called High Farm, and it's on top of a gall, a ways away from the estate. We have been pumping water to their farm from our well, but High Farm seems to be suffering much worse from the drought. He says they have a respectable herd, but the health of their animals isn't that good, and their breeding for the animals has suffered in the past few years due to the drought. He says it's managed by a man that I hired, or rather, he now works for me, but he was hired by my predecessor, and he's kind of been kept on during the changeover of staff. He says there are 4 or 5 staff there. He says honestly, High Farm sees a fair amount of turnover. Someone will take a job somewhere else, or they'll go back home to their family's business. So High Farm is problematic, and if this drought doesn't let up, I mean, our well can only supply so much. And due to their distance, that's a problem. If the drought doesn't kind of relent a bit, then we may have to liquidate High Farm or sell it or something. I'm not sure what the plan is for High Farm just yet. Of course, I will supply the manager and the staff that work there. Will of course be given favorable severance packages if that were to happen, but I'm really hoping that something turns around. Everybody make a Recon plus Intellect check.
Well, I did poorly. Got 6. 14.
Okay. So,
well, I got those eyes that give me a +1 in Recon.
Yeah.
And then I've got a recon skill that's pretty good.
What did Keith get?
14.
Okay. So Gregor, Ting, and Keith, you guys are sipping on your expensive
Long Island iced tea.
Yes, you're sipping on your very expensive drinks, and so the pool room is kind of over here, and you're looking out the window, and you see this very strange agricultural robot tending to the garden, and there is a number of these robots, and they're all very peculiar. The one is out there. Well, let me find a description of it because it is rather ridiculous. It's
a cowboy robot.
So this robot seems to be excessively overly complicated for really no reason. And it seems to have multiple pieces of extra machinery attached to it. And so it is holding up a martini shaker and shaking it with 2 arms. It has an additional 2 arms that are doing some trimming and gardening. And then it has a holographic projector that is projecting a small news feed and speakers that are playing music all at the same time. And there's some people out here and then that are also gardening. And then all of a sudden the robot will start to have a problem, and you see Tix come running out, and he'll kind of fiddle with it, and it'll go back about its business. And Sir Willard kind of comes over and looks out the window at what you're looking at, and he kind of starts to chuckle, and he says, "Yeah," he says, "Tix kind of like many of us, Tix is out of his element, and I would venture to guess that he's rather bored, and so he creates these overly complicated technological solutions just to give himself something to do." And so that particular agricultural robot not only trims my garden, but for the rest of the staff, it will supply them with martinis while they're working, and plays music of their choice, and gives them something to watch. If he says one of the people likes to watch Star-Lords, which is a popular Imperial soap opera. And so he says, so this one robot kind of does all of it.
Do you have any kind of aerial vehicles? Access to any of them?
He says, presently we don't. He says that is something that I will be ordering. But I really want to put my efforts into the farms and infrastructure before I am seen ordering something like a air raft.
Well, maybe even a hot air balloon. Seeding clouds is a way to induce rain, which is a way to bring a break from droughts. So I was, thinking, frozen even frozen particles of.
Have you tried seeding the clouds with frozen argon?
Yeah, let's do frozen carbon dioxide. Yeah. That we can do. It's only minus 27 degrees.
We could take your subsidized liner and fill it full of argon and bring it back, and it would solve all your problems.
He says that's actually a really good idea, and he goes over to the bar and he writes something down about that on a bar napkin, and kind of tucks it into his pocket. And he says, "Well, I am going to go dress for dinner tonight." He says, "I hope you will all be joining us." He says the Savria family will be here as well.
And we're dressing local.
I am.
Is Sunday best for the local fair? You don't have to wear dress uniforms or anything like that.
Oh yeah. I've only got one outfit.
That's all we brought. It's that or my assless chaps.
Oh no! I'm thinking about wearing the chaps, and
that's what I'm wearing.
Yes.
and my boots and my hat, you know.
So as you get up to your rooms, you do notice that the estate. So here are some things about the estate. You notice that it's built to off-world standards. The materials that the estate is built out of may look like they're local, but they're, Dravid jokes that they're as tough as the Duke of Tobia's bathhouse, and but he doesn't elaborate on how he would know how tough the Duke of Tobia's bathhouse is. And what if asked, he just says that's a story for another time. There is this continuous outer wall around the estate, and there is a gated entrance here just under the grav pad. And there is a automated security monitoring system that that Dravid tells you actually did come from the Duke of Tobia's bathhouse. And you're not sure if he's joking when he says that or not. If you are carrying any weapons, they do have to be stored here in the gatehouse. That's just a security measure. Nobody other than Dravid is armed, and even Dravid is only carrying a sidearm. He keeps a submachine gun locked up in the gatehouse as well.
I'm not even going to mention the fact that I have these claws.
Yeah,
I can't really leave them behind.
Yeah, no, you don't. Yeah, I mean, not only that, but they're concealed. So,
Yeah.
now when Dravid does set up, or rather, Tix sets up your mobile comms so that you are on the security system for the estate, and this is just standard access, meaning that most parts of the estate are going to be open to you, but not anything that would be considered sensitive. Like, for instance, there is an auto dock on the estate. You wouldn't have access to the auto dock's programming station, as an example.
Oh, too bad.
I know.
Yeah.
Can I steal the auto dock?
Questions about the bathhouse are met with a bland statement that the nobility selects staff for their discretion. It is hard to tell if Dravid is joking or if he really does know something about the Duke of Tobia's bathhouse. So you come down for your dinner, and you meet the Savrias. Let me find them. And as soon as you come in, the 15-year-old girl, Medine, she looks a lot like. I mean, you can see that she is Durrell's daughter. I mean, the two of them look like clones. Durrell being 38 and Medine being 15, but they look like carbon copies. And
boy, she was young. He was young when he had her.
Yes, yeah, they were. And well, I mean, there's not much to do on Gore. So, I mean, that's how that works. So, you can. So Durrell is very intent on listening to any stories that you have to tell, and the 15-year-old girl Medine is just absorbing everything that you say. She wants to know everything about where you've traveled, where you've been. She wants to know what it's like to be off-world, and she isn't dumb. She's benefited from a very well-placed electronic education package that Sir Willard has given to her. But now that she has that, she is aware that there is more out there than just this dustball planet that she was born on. And she wants to know about everything, and she is hounding you guys for information.
Would she like to come to space and maybe go on an adventure off into the Trojan Reach?
Do you want to learn how to pilot a Harrier?
Well, no. See, now you said she was an electronics person, so I was thinking sensors, communications. I mean, we could put her to work if she would like some excitement.
She loves that idea, and she immediately turns to her mom and dad, and Andrew, her father, is like, I don't know, and Darrell is like, well, your father and I will discuss this, and if the offer still stands, then maybe if we can guarantee that it will further your education.
Oh, I guarantee it will further.
You're gonna get some schooling.
Yeah. You go learn.
If nothing else, I'd like to take her into space and then drop her back home. Nothing else. That'd be cool, right? Wouldn't that be cool for a teenager that's like bored of everything?
Yeah, kind of like a summer camp. The pirate summer camp.
NASA pirate summer camp.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we'll offer their son or whatever too if he would like a job serving the Drinax Navy.
So there is Rakes. So Rakes is the eldest child at 22 years old. So yeah, they had him really young.
Really young.
Really young.
That's 16.
Yeah. Rakes doesn't have a whole lot of interest in leaving the world. He is learning the trade of being a cattle farmer. He is your basic small town boy that wants to stay in the small town and wants to learn the family trade. But he thanks you for the offer. Jorge, the adopted son, who's 17, his parents both worked for the Sarvia farm as hired hands, but they were killed in an accident 5 years ago.
Ooh, bad luck, Jorge. You might have bad juju.
So the Sarvias took him in, and
what's his luck score? 2.
Yeah, he's got a big goose egg for his luck score. Boy, it must suck to be that kid. They took him in, and as good as adopted him. He is known as Jorge Hellman Sarvia. They recognize that there are legal formalities that they will probably have to go through at the starport that they haven't done yet to make him an official adoptee. Jorge seems like he's he's a little emo. Like he's moody, bad. He's a typical 17-year-old kid. Probably listening to fucking 9 Inch Nails. I mean, what a dick. So, all of you can make a social plus, or I'm sorry, a recon plus social check.
Oh yeah,
that's another minus.
I got a 9.
How in the world did I get a 10?
Wow.
Because I have 0 for DM for this.
I got an 8.
What about Keith?
Well.
So all of you kind of recognize that. So at first, Jorge kind of comes off as just being a typical 17-year-old jerk. But the more that you interact with him, you realize that he's not really a bad kid. He's just having trouble dealing with his whole situation in the last 5 years. And so, 5 years...
His entire teenagehood has been as an orphan.
Right. Exactly. And so...
a good stint of a decade or so of extreme violence will help get rid of all that anger.
So Seuss Hellman is Jorge's uncle, and normally he would have taken on the task of raising the boy after the parents died. The decision was made. Nobody really remembers why it was made this way. Or it was just the right way, in quotes. that he would be raised as a family member of the Sarvia household. Seuss sees himself as an employee, but he has this peculiar semi-family status with the Sarvias. So, yes, he's a paid employee, but they treat him like a family member. So, both the Vorstaten estate and West Farm are very tight with their staff. And
I'd like to talk to the father.
Okay, what would you like to ask him?
Him and I need to go off to the side and have a discussion, because I grew up on a farm and a not very nice planet.
Yeah,
and I'd like to wonder what he does besides the regular business.
So
because my family was into supporting the local black market as part of their financial plan.
Hey, that might actually gain some credibility for Sir Willard too. But so Gregor and Andrew kind of strike up this conversation, and Sir Willard is going on talking about some of his plans for running these irrigation lines, and Andrew's wife, Darrell, kind of she's very careful about her wording because she doesn't want to insult Sir Vorstaten, but she gently reminds Sir Willard that he does not really understand Gore's weather patterns, the people, or anything else about it. And so they kind of get into this minor friendly argument, but you notice that Darrell doesn't push the issue with Sir Willard, because she doesn't want to insult him, and he is the noble in charge of the planet. So, kind of got to be careful there. But
what does she suggest should happen with the weather and the patterns? What is her prediction?
Well, she says that the droughts come and the droughts go, and yes, you can do all of this work to run these irrigation lines, and you can drain wells down to their bare minimum rock bottom, but in the end, the drought will probably outlast your wells. And pretty much, you just have to work the herds, move them to where the water is, and it's a lot of hard work, but eventually the drought will lift. And so,
and you'll come back to semi-arid.
Right, and then we'll come back to semi-arid. And so, she's trying to explain to Sir Willard and anybody that'll listen that, we just have to wait it out. It's just a lot of work in the meantime. That we just got to wait it out. So you guys kind of finish up your dinner, and as you are sitting around the next morning, you get a message, or rather a news feed. It is a weather map. And it is showing that there is a large wildfire that has broken out.
Oh, great. Shit.
And we will pick up that next week at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Is the white and red the wildfire?
Yes. And then there's also a number of small wildfires starting down here, or, dry lightning strikes, things of that nature. So, yeah, we will pick up with the wildfire next week at 7 o'clock. And you guys get to do some possible thrilling heroics.
Yeah. I hope we figure it out. See you next week.
All right. See you guys next week. Have a good night, guys.
Can I use the small boat?
The small boat?
Is there a sub 100-ton thing we can use on this planet to put out fires?
No. There's horses and SUVs.
I'm not particularly good on horses.
Well, yeah.
Last time I rode one, it tried to buck me off.
Yes. I've been there.
All right, you have a good night.